One of my favorite new words is derpy.
Like horse derby, derby,
derby,
roller skate derby.
Hey, you're over here at the Kentucky Derby.
Derpy. What's derpy mean?
Derpy. I don't know. It's just kind of like you got kind of your face is like, oh, that guy's kind of derpy.
Like your face is melting.
Blink. Yeah. It's like you know how you in the punch bowl, if you could put like you have punch, you have some sort of a pop or soda in there, you put these big chunks of ice cream in there. It's whatever. Are you laughing at?
You said pop. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
And then there's like that ice cream that's floating off to the side. Instead of scooping up the actual punch, whatever it is, you're actually scooping up a big scoop of that globby stuff. It's all melty and blood. You're like, that's derpy.
Okay. So it's a very specific time you can use it.
And it's normally with certain people that I'm around.
That you'll say it because they'll like it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're girls, right?
No.
They think it's funny?
The girls, yeah.
Because they're pretty attuned to what's going on.
Yeah, maybe I'm a dad.
Like they feel like they're culturally relevant.
Oh, yeah.
Your kids are very attuned.
I feel like they are.
My kids quote The Office, and they have never seen it.
Titus,
wasn't it on a podcast? I said Titus says use the Bella de Bull.
Yeah, he has no idea.
Yeah. Can I tell you another time you could use derpy? Yes. And I'll also tie in a way you can make your grilled cheese sandwiches better. So grilled cheese sandwich. Do you ever make grilled cheese sandwiches?
Yeah, for the kids, yes.
Yeah, not for yourself. Get out of here. Too much sugar.
I make it with tortillas, low carb tortillas.
Oh,
that's more of a quesadilla.
Quesadilla. Finnick has started saying that his real name is Finnick Tyler Tortilla Tarver. I don't know why.
That's a good name.
But I like it. And he, whenever you do your grilled cheese sandwich, I actually read this or saw this on TikTok or something. And you grill it. So you like put the butter down, you put the bread on, then you put the cheese on, and then you put the bread on, then you flip it, put more butter.
Wow.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's normal. Okay. I don't know I said wow. That's how you do yours. Wow. I just put them in the toaster and stick cheese.
Wow. I didn't know that's how you do that.
Wow. Well, the trick is, the problem with that is you're toasting the bread, but unless you do like super low heat and take longer, you're not going to melt all the cheese.
Right.
So what they said is after you do that, just toss it in the microwave for like 20 seconds. It melts the cheese on the inside.
Oh.
And you get a more grilly cheesy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's very derpy of them.
That's so derpy.
Yes.
That's
so derpy.
It's a setting on your microwave. You just push the button. You're just like, cook? No, derp.
Hey, get your head away from the microwave, the radiation. Amanda thinks if you hit the open button and you don't hit cancel and step away and wait a few seconds, then you'll get like some sort of radiation. Amanda thinks weird stuff sometimes. But if she's right, it'll save lives.
Yeah.
But I got a life insurance policy. She'll be fine.
You're leaking all these
it's very
microwave.
It's derpy radiation, and derpy's your brain.
And it doesn't hit you quickly.
No.
You could probably move out of the way of it. You open up the microwave door, and we are 3 minutes into this talk. I was just explaining down a road.
Why don't we explain Urban Dictionary words, and then we just go through? That's a good one.
Oh, boy.
I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, I would like to do that.
BOI, boy. That's one.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Sports boys.
I can't get my microphone to work.
Shout out Sports Cards Nonsense. Sports boy.
Hey, Sports boy.
It's Jesse. He doesn't know anything about sports, and he's on the Sports Cards Nonsense podcast.
Oh yeah, that guy.
And his nickname is Sports Boy.
He doesn't know.
If he comes out with merch, I will buy it. I love it.
Wow.
He's so like there.
I need to.
He is my kind of sense of humor. I really like Jesse. If you like sports cards, listen to Sports Cards Nonsense.
Yeah, go do that.
Today's podcast is sponsored by
Don't stop listening to this
sportscardsnonsense.com.org.
You know they should also go listen to Joseph Tilley.
Oh, Joseph Tilley with the intro, boy.
I like your version.
Let it drop?
Yeah, but it's less derpy the way you do it.
Drop the derp.
Derp.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Tyler and Neil Explain Everything podcast. Now officially your fourth favorite podcast. Hit the subscribe button and make sure you go to patreon.com/explain everything to get exclusive episodes. Looks like we made it.
Neil, people don't talk about how we've made it enough. You know what I mean? Like, why isn't there a podcast dedicated to our podcast? I guess there is. It's our podcast. And I guess there's a second one. It's the Patreon episodes. But there should be a third podcast that we don't host.
Yeah. Yes.
Could our alter egos, Taylor and Keneal, because the K is silent in Neil. So if you say it phonetically, it's Keneal.
Keneal.
Taylor and Keneal explain everything. And then it's just us analyzing our own podcast.
It's like a director's cut of this. Because what you want is more talking over top of this talking.
Well, those guys would be less focused like because we're pretty focused on our topics.
We're very focused.
What are we talking about today? We told them?
I don't think we have.
I've totally forgotten, actually.
Well, the reason why we haven't told them is because there's a supply chain shortage and getting the information to people.
So we're talking about supply chain shortages.
We are.
So this way, after this, they'll actually use it correctly in a sentence.
Oh, yeah.
And not just blame, why didn't my email come through? Supply chain shortage.
I heard someone say that they were late to a meeting and they blamed a supply chain shortage.
Okay, first off, were they kidding?
No.
Oh, then it's not as funny. I mean, it's funny, but just to you.
It's funny.
It would have been funny if they were serious.
Yeah. No, they're serious, but it would have been funny if they were trying to be funny. If, who's thinking of somebody who's funny that would say that?
You actually ask for me to talk, and I don't say anything.
That backfired on me.
I thought it'd be funny.
Supply chain shortage. It is affecting everything that you know in 2022. But hey, also welcome to 2022.
New year, new me.
New you.
New
who?
New
you. Who knew?
New year, new me.
I was just waiting for him to say
it. Look at us, 2022.
I'm sorry.
Ow, that hurt my stomach, Neil. I literally looked like I was about to throw up on the camera.
So, supply chain shortage is basically everywhere. What is the first thing that you felt the shortage, the supply chain shortage, the slowdown? What is the first thing you felt it affect?
Sports cards.
Everything.
That's the only thing I care about.
Well, if we're being really honest,
that's what we are.
Okay.
And we are. We're actually too honest with you guys.
Yeah.
They call us Windows because we're so transparent.
That camera is not seeing you.
Really?
You need to see you a little more. There, it sees you now, but it didn't see you. So yeah, there you are, Tyler. So the toilet paper was one of the first things that I think everybody felt most of. Like, oh no, you remember people were freaking out. Like, I can't wipe my butt. I didn't
talk to a lot of people that said that because then that meant that they had duty booties.
Yeah, and you're like, I can't even look at you.
Yeah, I guess my kids did that. I wiped my booty. I was like, you're far too old for me to do that.
I think it's one of the first things that people felt. The first thing that I felt it with was rental car company.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, because you fly a lot because you're really important.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm worldwide.
Worldwide.
Yeah, so it's everywhere. What experts are saying, economists are predicting, this will take until late 2022 or at least mid 2023 to actually catch up with the product being manufactured and then shipped out to people. So the things that you're seeing, you're like, oh wow, I can't. I mean, how many times you pull up to a restaurant, you're like, hey, can I order this? You're like, I'm sorry, we don't have that.
Yes, at my favorite breakfast place, Buttered Biscuit.
Yes,
and they didn't have the crab for
because they couldn't get crab.
The omelet. Man, that's such a bougie omelet.
There's
crab in my omelet.
I don't need a regular. I don't need a crab. I don't know.
Is that how I sound, Neil? Is that what I sound like?
I did.
I
went into a totally. I don't know what that accent was. That voice. So inflation has risen 6.2% across every industry.
Hey, but at least pay has gone up that much, right?
Oh yeah, definitely match that. Yeah. Food, gas, housing is hit all of those. This is the highest that inflation has been, the highest pace that it has risen since 1990.
What happened then?
I don't know.
It's because the sports car market was taken.
Probably was. It probably was. When was that? That's probably around the last time that Detroit won anything. The Detroit Lions.
The Tigers were good then.
Tony
Tigers. I think Cecil Fielder, didn't he play for the Tigers back then?
Yes, he did.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Go Detroit.
Sorry, Detroit. The three most affected sectors of the economy have been the automotive industry, the tech industry, and medical supply. Medical supply, I get that.
Yeah, because of the diseases.
Right. And they need the medicine, and they need the supply
we're
of medicine.
Scientists, really.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist. So there are three of the biggest factors in the shortages. You have supply, you have demand, and you have shipping. We are going to break these down for you.
This is the breakdown.
Here is
That's Colin Samir.
The breakdown. Yeah, oh, it is. Yeah, that's a great. Those guys are great.
They're really good.
Okay, so we'll talk about supply. This is not the major. This is not the biggest contributor, but it is a big contributor. Most companies, what they did is they cut their inventory to save money during COVID, because $1 in inventory on your shelf is actually costing you to house it, to keep it warm, cold in a warehouse or whatever. You've got this overhead, and you're not making any money off of it. So this is when we noticed it first. Rental car companies, in order to survive COVID, sold off their inventory.
Oh, wow.
Based off of, in the past, they could get a new rental car. They could just go to Toyota and say, hey, we want to reorder. So as the demand came back, they thought, we're going to just go back and be able to buy new cars. The problem is Toyota operates on something called just-in-time operating model.
Okay.
It's very, very efficient until something messes with it. So what it is, Toyota is the largest car manufacturer in the world. So Enterprise, they buy a lot of their cars from Toyota. They sold all their stock off to get their stock, the actual car, the inventory off. And then when it starts coming back, they couldn't get new cars, because the just-in-time operating model means that we manufacture based on the demand that is out there. So as the demand went down, they laid people off. They didn't buy as many materials. They didn't have a bunch of stock. And then when it came time to ramp back up, they couldn't meet the new demand because they had been trending downward on everything else.
That's crazy.
So it's bad. So now they can't get it. So we rented a car on our vacation this past year, and we rented it about 3 months ahead of time. The shortage went crazy.
Yeah.
We rented it for about $130 a day. When we got there, the guy at the counter, he goes, dude, how did you get this? I'm like, what do you mean? How did I get it? It was back. He goes, no, you don't understand. These things go for over $800 a day right now.
Oh my goodness.
There was a line of people behind me buying them. Wow. You're renting them for $800. I'm talking like, this is not a,
what about
not a
like
high end
Turo. Like, you know what I'm talking about, where you can like rent cars through the app?
Yeah, I would think that would be better, but then people are afraid of COVID. They don't want people in their car.
Yeah, because the sneezers.
And plus John Turturro, not
he's an actor.
profitable. He's an actor.
He's got a range.
I'm not a good actor.
I'm not a good actor. Hey, what is that model called?
Oh, when you can rent out your own. I don't know.
No. You just said it. The model you're talking about. We're just.
It's on time operating model.
They said just in time.
Just in time. Sorry. Yes.
Okay. Is that any relation to Justin Timberlake? I've been holding that joke for like 8 minutes.
When you said, wait, isn't that what it is? I went, no, you're right. It's as soon as I got the word just, I went, I know why he's
about to use the name
this again.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake. And really, I'm pretty sure he's the one who caused all of this.
Oh, he is such a good dancer.
Yeah.
That's on him.
That's not our fault.
His dancing is contagious.
Stop, man.
That's how he got us sick.
Stop making us pay for your mistakes.
Yeah.
So
send us our Jessica Biel. You get it, Bill? Like Bill,
are they
like
still
money.
Married? Are they still married?
Yes.
Good for them.
They're forever.
Good for them. That's great.
He's a man of the woods.
I saw Tyler go through a list of songs in his head so quickly. And he's way faster at it than any of us would have been. That's not true. So the
this
chips,
is all scripted.
This is actually goes back to the chip supply and the shortage on this. So think about it. The cars can't be there. Okay, so we went to go buy a used car. Yep. The supply is not there. We went to the car dealership. There was not a new car on the lot.
Yep.
And I said, listen, are you getting when are you going to get new cars? And he goes, Neil, you don't understand. We're getting truckloads of new trucks and cars every day. We sold those have been sold for 8 months now.
Yep.
So as soon as they get here, they don't sit on the lot. They've already been sold. A neighbor of ours in Conway, he bought a truck 2 months ago. He expects to get it by June.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, bro.
Is it a brand new truck? Okay.
Brand new.
See, truck. Amanda's had the same van for like 10 years. It's gross. It's like a crust mobile. Oh. It's an Uncrustable. You ever had one of those? That's what it is as a van. And so we're finally going to get you a vehicle that's not, torn to shreds from 3 children and just destroying it. It's not like a child zoo. And so she looks up a bunch of stuff. Can't get it anywhere. Like you can't get it anywhere local because everything's sold out. Like literally we have the largest selling car lot in the country in our town.
Yeah.
And they're sold out of everything new. And so that's whenever you remember whenever I flew out to Spokane, Washington. Is that Washington?
Yeah.
Flew out there and then I drove 6 hours that day, got a hotel for 6 hours, then drove 24 hours straight. And then did class. for my stuff.
That's incredible.
That was crazy.
That was a long drive.
That's a long 24 hours, like legitimately 24 hours from 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. I was driving.
You were starting to kind of lose it a little bit there towards the end.
I was losing it for a lot of it. I got there, got into town, got in at 7, took a 30-minute nap, woke up at 7:30, did my class via Zoom for my doctorate, had finished at noon, drove to work, slept for an hour on my couch, and then did our graduation.
And jumped right up. You're like, hey, you're graduating.
That was crazy. Thanks, supply chain.
Jeez. The chip shortage. We think, oh my gosh, my phone, I can't get a new phone. I can't get it. Yeah, right. Pringles.
Tortilla chips.
I don't know if those are even real chips.
They're not.
What is in that? Is that a potato?
It's a tongue. It's a chip tongue.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Those chips are in everything. So the largest manufacturer is in where's it at? It's in Taiwan. Thailand. Yeah.
Tarver.
Or is it Taiwan? Tyler Tarver.net. It's in pacemakers. It's in car remotes. It's in headphones. It's in electric toothbrushes. It's in TVs. It's in cameras. It's in everything. And so we don't have it because it's coming from Southeast Asia. Most manufacturers, what they do is they laid off workers. They let them go during COVID so the company could stay afloat. But the ripple effect is causing them to not have enough backstock of what they actually make to meet the demand of like the supply is really bad. So that leads us into demand.
So usually people hear supply and demand. Like, when you produce things, you create things because the demand is there, that you're creating the supply.
Yes.
Like you have to make that. Like the reason things cost a certain amount, they go higher or lower is because there's a certain amount there for what people want. They're willing to pay for it.
Typically when I think of demand, I think of my brother's ex-wife. She, in any setting,
is demanding.
Walking up to the counter, unbelievably demanding.
Her name was Karen,
and
right?
It's close. No, but what she ended up doing, she always had this phrase she'd say, she goes, "This is not acceptable. I am demanding for this." I was like, wow, that's awesome. Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, no, it's great. That was so good.
It's good.
Is it better or worse than my 8-minute monologue about whatever the crud I just talked about?
It's not. It's worse.
I'm sorry.
Way worse.
So here's the thing. We have, as a culture, everything's on demand. I want somebody to take me. App, Uber. I need somebody bring me food. Uber Eats.
It's
Bike
on demand.
Squad. Yeah, it's on. Everything's on demand. You get it when you want it, and so we become accustomed.
Brilliant.
Like think of this when you were like in school. Like remember eBay first came out like the late 90s.
Yeah.
Buy something on eBay. What's something you bought on eBay a long time ago?
I bought some comic books.
Dope. I bought some Dragon Ball Z movies on VCD. It's like burned DVDs.
Okay.
You're thinking 2 to 3 weeks, and you're like excited that it's less than 2 weeks.
You're thrilled.
We have, with Amazon Prime and the way Amazon has like spoiled us, we get aggravated if it takes longer than a day for anything. You'd be like, oh, I need a, rando iPhone clip for this thing. I want it in less than 24 hours. We become so on demand with our lives. It's like, this is now frustrating people. And it's like, people are getting mad, canceling orders, all this stuff, because the companies have now gone from, well, you're lucky to buy from us because we have this product to like, oh, they could buy it on Amazon. We need to get it there quicker.
Right.
Or Amazon's like, okay, we'll get this quick. Like we have shifted to a consumer first mindset as opposed to like, I am Microsoft. You will do what I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's swung the
pendulum.
Think
about it like that. That's good.
The other way. Not the underway. That's a weird way.
The underway.
That's the different
undercarriage, the underbelly of London.
That's from Casino Royale. The pendulum, when the bad guy catches him and he swings the pendulum.
And it's definitely the
under the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a deep cut. No, too much, Tyler. Too far. Don't say that. People are ordering more than ever. Like people have become more and more comfortable. Used to 15 years ago, like my parents would have never ordered something. I ain't putting my credit card online.
Yeah.
Now it's like they're in there. PayPal has made it so easy for you to have one thing linked.
So easy
to fall in love. And so now like people are ordering more and more because they're afraid it's going to run out. Now they're buying it in bulk. Like everything has become Costco. You know what I mean? Like buy it in bulk, get it now, just in case.
Speaking of which, we ran out of toilet paper at my house the other day. Yeah. And I went to Costco because I thought they were open until 9 because of holiday hours. They were not. They closed at 8:30. I got there at 8:40. And as I got to the front door, they were closing the giant, like on The Empire Strikes Back, when they're like, oh no, Han Solo's out there. We're not going to get him again. They were closing that door and the guy stopped and he goes, hey man, sorry, we're closed. I was like, do you have holiday hours? He goes, no, I don't. No, we don't. He goes, you look like you need something. What are you shopping for? I said, toilet paper. And one of the dudes ran to the back of the building, brought toilet paper up, and they let me check out.
That is really cool.
Supply and demand.
Today's episode is brought to you by Costco.
Costco.
Pay us in bulk, Costco.
Yeah. For fear of running out, you buy so much more. So when we ran out of toilet paper back during COVID, when it first happened, what ends up happening is when you do get your hands on some, you're like, I need 10 times what I normally need because just in case.
It's like never go shopping when you're hungry because you buy too much food.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Terrible.
Never buy toilet paper when you gotta use when you're cleaning out a big old sewer tank in London. That's a callback.
Yes.
A lot of the experts, which is us, correct?
For sure.
We're the experts.
For sure.
They think this buying and spending situation is going to slow down in the next 6 months. Some of the reasons are like, I feel like, you can tell me if I'm wrong. I think we are placing too much like, it's a stimulus checks. Yeah. Like we didn't get $80,000. No. It's like, I got $600. I got like $1,000.
Keeps going up.
Yeah. It's like, it's not all coming from stimulus. Like that's a finite number. Like the amount people are spending above what they normally spend is well above what the stimulus checks are for. Like it's not just
all just because of that.
I'm sure that does play into it. But then again, it's like, oh, cool. I spent that like one day because I ordered guacamole at Chipotle. So it's like that got rid of my stimulus check. Bing, bang, boom. Bing, bong.
I know.
Anyway,
that's good.
Just so I can stop talking because I'm the worst person on this podcast. Most products are moving up to the point where, we can't afford them like we used to because it's just like
it's starting to get really
they're
expensive.
Raising the prices because it's like the demand is higher than the supply.
What are things you think of that are more expensive than what they used to be that you notice?
Cards. Sports cards.
It all comes back to that.
It's the only thing I buy, Neil. I buy a creamer for my coffee.
Food. I was going to say, you buy food.
Buy sports
Do you
cards.
Notice that? The cost has gone up.
I don't buy food. Or sports cards, yes. It has gone up.
No, I'm not talking about that. I was talking about the food.
I don't buy food.
You said you buy creamer for your coffee.
Yeah.
That's gone up.
I don't even
No, it's gone up.
I'm so rich, it means nothing to me. The amount from patreon.com/explain everything. I'm finger gunning the camera. Get rich. Hey, I got a shirt that says Get Rich. 2016.
2016, Get Rich.
Rich Wickerson Jr.
You want to talk about shipping?
Talking about shipping?
Hey.
We're going to talk about shipping. Talking about shipping?
We're talking about shipping.
We're winning a ship. That means championship.
That's exactly.
A lot of people don't know that. I used to think they were saying the S word.
That's welcome
in
to
hardball with Keanu Reeves.
Coach time with
Keanu Reeves, hardball.
Yeah.
Go into the ship.
Didn't he do a replacements video too? He was on a football team for the replacements.
Yeah, that was a different movie.
That was a different movie, but hardball was good too.
Yeah, I cried. I legitimately had tears.
For real.
Yeah,
it's a good movie. I don't
Spoiler
know.
alert.
I cried.
G baby. That was his name.
Tyler.
I cried.
Okay.
Stop judging me, Neil.
No, that's awesome.
Judge Judy, get out of here. Goodness gracious.
Who's somebody is starting a judging show. Who is it?
A guy for
Harvey. Steve Harvey. He's starting his own. Weinstein. No.
Well, he had one. Got in trouble for it.
He's not allowed to judge anyone.
Good.
No, he's bad.
Good.
He's bad. So shipping is one of our biggest contracts. So this is the biggest contributor.
Yep.
Supply, demand, shipping is where the real problem actually is. So you remember when that ship got stuck in the Suez Canal?
Yeah.
Yeah. They chopped that up into little bitty parts and they burned it for biofuel. No, they didn't.
Okay. Really?
No. So that caused a major, but it's like really one of the first times that we have all as a world been like, oh, wow, there's this ship with all these containers on it that's stuck. It's stuck. It's messing everything up. And it did. Yeah. But it's like we don't pay that much attention outside of Captain Phillips of like what it actually looks like to have a ship with a bunch of containers on it and it's out there in the ocean. But this is the way the majority of the world transports, imports, exports, all of that kind of stuff. It goes through this. So there are only 2 ports on the West Coast. We'll talk about ports first, shipping ports, shipping containers, and we'll talk about trains and trucks. Shipping ports on the West Coast, there's only 2 of them. There's the LA in Los Angeles, there's that port, and there's Long Beach. The Long Beach port and LA account for almost everything that comes in from Asia, from Southeast Asia. There are right now, today, January 3rd, there are over 100 ships waiting at sea to be unloaded.
Oh my gosh.
Their wait time, it normally takes during regular, this is like 2 years ago, it takes them 12 days to unload a ship. That ship pulls up to dock, to port, and they unload every one of those containers off. It's not like they can just unload it, put it somewhere. They have to unload it and put it. This one goes way over here. This one goes over there. This one goes in that pile. This one goes over in that pile, but we have to move 5 like shipping containers off to put it where it goes. It's like a giant game of Tetris. Well, they're running out of room at the ports. And I'll talk about that in a second. If it normally takes them 12 days to unload a ship, now it is taking them 3 weeks minimum to unload one ship. Here is why. They're waiting out at sea for a month.
Why?
They're just sitting there. There's no room to unload them.
Is there?
There is no room to unload them.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
They're running 24-hour day cruise. And they said that on the East Coast, as you know, there's Baltimore. Baltimore's on the East Coast, and the same thing is happening there. So here's what happens. Cruise, shipping, or port company cruise, it's that crane, that overhead crane. It travels on a rail system. They get paid more money to unload and to move around filled containers. Empty containers, they get paid less than a third of the price of what they would get paid to move one that is full. So what ends up happening? A company is done with its shipping container in Boise, Idaho, and they ship it empty back to the ports to be reused. It just gets put off to the side. So what is happening is there is a massive stockpile of empty shipping containers, and they're not touching those because the priority is let's get these full ones off. So now they're running out of room because they don't want to lose money on let's put all these empty ones back on this ship and send it back over to Southeast Asia or to West Africa or wherever else. They're not making enough money on it. And so it's slowing the entire thing down.
Whoa.
So we're literally running out of room. There are miles of roads with filled shipping containers ready with wheels underneath them, and they just don't have the truck to take them, waiting for a truck to take it to somewhere in the United States. Miles of it. It's freaky.
That's insane.
They said that because they're getting clogged up at the ports, they don't think they will ever catch back up.
Like ever?
No. Because they're running, they don't have any room.
But I read that they started doing those ports like 24 hours a day now. They're hoping that helps.
It's nonstop. It doesn't help. They can't put a dent in it.
Wow.
So that was before, it was where they had 2 shifts. They had a morning shift and an afternoon shift. They're running 24 hours a day and they can't keep up with it.
Wow.
So a shipping container, then it moves by rail or by truck. And the railway freight costs went up by 8% this year. And shipping companies are also trying to prioritize containers filled with gloves, protective face gear, and hospital gowns and equipment from China, so it puts everything else on hold. So that ship is out there. It gets bumped, or it comes up and it bumps out, your Toys R Us order or whatever. People are mad about that because we have to get this essential stuff into the country, and it's slowing everything else down. They also, these companies are sending things out that are priorities. So if it is medical supplies and things like that are going to West Africa and parts of South America, they're sending those shipping containers there. Those are parts of the world that don't typically send something back. So they don't export as much as what they're importing. So now we don't have enough shipping containers.
Oh my goodness.
So they're stacking up in the ports. They're going to other places, and we don't have enough room to offload them, which is crazy. So typical cost to send a shipping container from Shanghai to Los Angeles pre-pandemic, $2,000. $25,000 is what it costs now.
Oh my goodness.
That's what it costs.
That's insane.
Small businesses can't do that. They used to lease out a portion of a shipping container and use that. They can't afford to now. Yeah. The shipping costs are too much. Big companies are the ones to actually blame for this. So Walmart, Target, Amazon are the biggest contributors to the chain supply slowdown. This is why, and Amazon is in the process. Like we said with Netflix, Netflix has created their own CDN. They distribute their own stuff on their own network. Amazon is doing it with their own truck. They started with trucks. Now they're at their own planes. Yeah. Like it's not on a UPS plane or a FedEx plane. It's on an Amazon plane. And the next is that they would have their own ships and their own ports that they're only doing their own things because right now they're clogging everything else up.
Sheesh. That's crazy.
It's crazy. So most companies have cut workers, most shipping companies, trucking companies, railway companies, shipyard companies cut workers and shift times because of COVID in anticipation that the demand would drop off during COVID. They thought, well, people are going to be home. They're not going to need as much stuff. What did we do?
We bought more stuff.
We bought more stuff.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, we need, and some of it's legit. I need a printer at my house. I need a desk at my house. I need all this stuff.
I bought a monitor, a trackpad, and a keyboard.
Yeah. It's nuts. So Americans took the money that we used to use on everything else. Like, this is what went down. The areas of the economy that took a massive dip: eat-in restaurants, vacation destinations, spas, gyms, those types of things where it's in person. They all took a hit. Americans took the money they used on that, and they ended up buying stuff. And the supply and demand thing went completely haywire. And then the shipping side can't keep up with it. This is, most economists agree, this is at least a 2-year fix if we ever fix it.
Dang. That's wild,
nuts.
bro.
It's crazy.
That's nuts. Then what was that thing that I read about? So you're saying the problem is there's just too much. But then, like, I don't know if it was Biden that did it or somebody else. They started fining people like $100 per container for every day that they were sitting out there.
Yeah, they're trying.
And it, like, what do you know? It's sped up. Like, it's like, were they slowing their stuff down intentionally to create more demand than there is supply?
There's a huge, so what's funny is I watched an hour special on this. Every one of those industries. So the shipping, the harbors and the offloading, that's one industry. The trucks and the rails, all blame each other. None of them will take responsibility.
Nobody's taking responsibility for
their own? Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, who knew? So what's happening is they're saying, hey, listen, we're offloading these. The trucking companies now won't come and pick this up.
It's their fault.
It's their fault. Well, we can't get this from this truck over to this rail car because everybody else, they're all blaming each other. So
it's like in The Office when they're in that 3-way standoff with Dwight, Michael, and Andy.
Standoff.
And then Pam joins.
Yeah, this is. I feel like the shipping side of it is the biggest contributor to the whole thing. Because you can make more stuff, but if you can't get it, you know, hey, if you got it, a truck brought it. Have you seen all those?
Well,
shirts?
not this podcast.
No,
this is delivered. To your arms.
This is handcrafted. It's locally grown.
Organic,
gluten
free,
free range,
or gluten if you're against gluten.
If you're against gluten, it's 100% gluten.
Yeah. And then,
it's going right.
Well,
to my
this is completely free. Is this a Patreon?
No, this is everybody.
Oh, then this is free. Patreon. Patreon.com. Explain everything.
Yep. So 90% of all the chips, they come from one manufacturer in Taiwan, which is crazy. So a lot of people, what people are asking is this a result of the pandemic? Is this caused by the pandemic?
Probably.
And it's not entirely. Most corporations, the way they run their business, they try to keep a lean inventory so they aren't paying money to store the things that they haven't sold yet.
Makes sense.
And because of that, then we can't now meet the demand of what is out there, and we can't now order the supplies we need to meet that demand. So it's like COVID exposed the weakness. It was always there, but when things were ticking, going along, we were fine.
Yeah.
But this is actually supposed. So that what's funny is Toyota is really famous for their just-in-time delivery.
Justin Timberlake.
And I get it. It's like it's a great thing, but is that the best thing going forward? They're actually talking about could they have to change their model of how they do it? Because American car companies, they make a bazillion of these cars and just stock them in massive fields. They don't do that for Toyota. They don't do that. And they're like, hey, if they had, maybe this wouldn't have been. So it's their fault.
Toyotas?
They caused all this.
Toyota did? We both drive Toyotas. So
we do. Yeah, we do.
Sponsored by Toyota.
Thank you, Toyota.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you want to 3v3 this?
More than anything in the world.
I don't know if I believe you.
Welcome to the party, pal. This is 3v3.
Don't you ever call me out on our podcast again.
It was like we haven't had it's way past our dinner time because it's late at night. It's about midnight, and I was like, "Tyler, you want to do his in the womb?"
Ryan Reynolds. Seriously,
Ryan Reynolds.
You know one of the things people don't talk about enough?
What?
Because who cares? You and I work so hard. But like one of the things, like if you work through the night, like we pulled all-nighters editing stuff and like working on things, getting things done.
We're so used to that.
I'm so used to it. And it's like people don't talk about it. Like you think of like, oh, I'm hungry, I need to eat dinner. If you are like working and it hits like 1, 2, 3 a.m., you get hungry again because you haven't eaten since dinner.
Right.
And it's like you don't think of that because usually you're asleep.
You're asleep.
And you wake up, you're like, oh, I'm thirsty, and then you want something to eat.
Yeah.
Like if you pull an all-nighter, you're literally going another 5 to 6 hours and you haven't eaten.
You're working and you're doing something else. Yeah.
Burning calories, editing videos.
Somebody asked me the other day, they said, "Hey man, would you help me build my YouTube channel?" And I did what you do. I was like, "Listen, if we had $1 for everybody that has asked this, and only one person has done it out of everybody,
and he made a lot of money,
and he's doing a great job." But I said, "Odds are you're not going to do it."
Yep.
He goes, "What?" I said, "I don't think you're going to do it because it's more work than what I think most people are willing to put." He's like, "No, I really will." I said, "Okay, then here's a couple things you can do.
Yep.
Do that, and then come back and talk to me."
It's for 6 months.
Yeah.
It's not like there are some people when they want to create content, it's like, okay, I'm excited, I'm passionate. Even if you like the subject, they'll start making content. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people, it's the work. They'll quit because it's a lot of time and work.
Tough.
Okay. And you're trying to fit that in usually at night, unless
on top of everything else. The only time you have is at night.
At night. Exactly. 8 to midnight. That's whenever I did almost everything I've ever done that you've seen because I've done my day job during the day.
Yep.
And so that's one, the work. But I'll tell you the second thing, and this gets more people, is they upload for 3 to 6 months and nobody watches. And nobody clicks. They get discouraged because it doesn't meet their expectations and they can't get that dopamine rush of likes and watches.
There's no instant gratification.
And then they just quit because they're like, I uploaded stuff for 10 years and nobody ever watched it. Not till TikTok. Nobody give a crud.
They're watching
sometimes.
They're watching
I did have that one video take off. Let me do it.
Yeah, how are we doing that one? A lot of them.
I did one video. Let me see. How's it doing?
Are you talking about with the whole thing about the dopamine hit? That's in Atomic Habits. Mm-hmm. We talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
It's exactly. Like, hey, I made this video, but nobody instantly liked it.
Bingo.
And so I don't know if I want to do it again because it's a lot of work
and
to make that one happen.
And it's embarrassing to people.
Yeah.
It's very exposing to upload a video and be like, I got 8 likes or 8 views. But the thing is, you have to consistently, I'm not creative, I'm consistent.
Yep.
And that's the thing. Like when 3 weeks ago, I've been kind of like, because I've had so much other stuff going on, I kind of pushed my TikTok for a while, even though it's my most important one. Yeah. And then I just was like, you know what? I need to post 3 a day. So I'm making and shooting and uploading. And I started doing 3 weeks ago and I was getting like low views. Like I look like I bought followers. And then last night, post one gets 187,000 views.
I actually got one. So I was talking with somebody the other day. His name was John Mark. John Mark. I know
John Mark Homer.
Nope, different John Mark.
Okay.
Better John Mark.
John Mark Montgomery.
Is it possible?
You know what he's saying?
What?
Life's a dance, you learn as you go. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow. Don't worry about what you don't know. Life's a dance, you learn.
I didn't know that song.
That's John Mark Montgomery.
That's pretty good.
Go ahead.
That's great.
John Mark.
We were talking about podcasts because he had one. It's called the Daily People Podcast. And he just interviews different people and he like loves it because, man, it's a lot of work.
Yep.
It's like, yeah.
Not only
what's cool about it is like I can go back and listen to like people feel like they know you better.
Yep.
And that's what we talk about.
I love that. Yeah. And that's the thing. Not only the work of like actually doing it, you have to edit it, post it, descriptions, and then you got clips. You got to post the clips if you want to market, advertise.
Yeah. Hey, we're actually doing 3v3 yet. Just realized.
Oh, yeah.
We got off on a tangent.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, 3v3. How did you say this? What are the 3 things?
3 things you would not want to get stuck in the supply chain backlog.
Yeah. Okay, you get to go first.
Steph Curry rookie cards.
Back to cards.
I just bought a Tyson Beck did a limited drop. Funny. Shout out Tyson Beck.
Hey Tyson.
He's an artist and he collabs with athletes. He collabed with Steph Curry.
Is he a listener? Is he a Patreon?
I'm sure he probably is a Patreon sub. There's no question. He's very popular. He's got 100,000 on Instagram, and he had like 60,000 people plus bots rush his site when he did his drop. And I literally sat there with my kids they were watching a show that night. And I was just refreshing his page.
Just hitting it.
For like 45 minutes after the drop because it kept crashing and they're redoing it. Man. I ended up getting 3 cards, a base, a foil, and then I got an artist autograph. I wanted a Steph autograph. I got 4 of them. 4 different times I got it in my cart and they got sold out before I could buy it.
No way.
Dude, the base card that I bought for, I think one of them was like $180. Another one sold for, I want to say it was like $700. Oh, like that night, somebody had it posted and sold on eBay for $700.
Shoot,
I didn't sell mine. I want to keep them, but if I'd have gotten a Steph Curry, that's a $2,000. No, I'm not good at selling those cards because I love them so much.
You're good at buying.
So I bought him. He's out of Australia. I hope that doesn't get stuck in the supply chain. I want those cards. Yeah, just 3 of them.
Get them over here.
Come on over, little buddy.
If there's one thing I don't want to get stuck in the supply chain, that would be our podcast. I want to make sure that this gets through.
This gets through as soon as possible. It doesn't get stuck in you're talking about the one that's free on Spotify and Apple.
Yeah.
Tyler and Neil Explain Everything podcast. Sure. And then you're also talking about the second bonus episodes we launch every week on Thursday.
Every
You're talking about those as well.
For sure.
That we don't plug ever or talk about.
No.
That are available at patreon.com/explain everything for less than the price of 2 avocados a month.
It's never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, you're talking about those two things.
I don't want that to get stuck.
That are both just raw gold poured into your ear hole.
Yeah. That would hurt.
Can I tell you a story about ear holes?
Okay.
Yeah. As a...
I don't like germs.
I'm going to M. Night Shyamalan this.
No.
The night ends with me laying on my side at a hospital and them pouring alcohol in my ear to kill a bug.
No.
Okay. How did it happen?
No.
July 4th. I was a kid. I was in 6th grade. I was running down because my uncle just showed up to do fireworks. I'm running down. A bug
There's a fly over
flies straight in my ear and gets stuck.
No.
I'm not talking like you can reach with your finger. Like literally every time he flapped,
is it moving around in there?
It was like Jumanji on my eardrums every time that he flapped their ears.
No.
We tried to we held a light, they went to the kitchen to try to get it out because in my ear. They held a light because it was hoping it'd fly towards the light. Oh, it couldn't fly out because its wings were bigger than my ear, because it flew into my eardrum. So then went to the hospital, the ER. On July 4th, they tried to dig it out. They're scraping my eardrum. Hurt really bad. They quit. Then they poured alcohol in there to kill it, and then they were able to pull it out.
Oh my gosh.
True story.
That could be my worst nightmare.
Why, you don't like bugs?
Bugs
in your
or
eardrum?
things. No, none of that.
Put those things together.
How scared were you?
I wasn't scared. I was just get this thing out because it was literally it was a Metallica concert on my eardrum every time. Because it's your eardrum.
Sandman.
Stick. Hey, first Matrix, when they walk into the club, they play Enter Sandman.
Yeah.
Whenever get a Q-tip, go too far in your ear, and then imagine that flying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was my ear, 6th grade. True story.
That terrifies me. Gina and I had just watched, this is about maybe 8 years ago. Gina and I had just watched these videos of, I guess it was some dude that went to the Amazon and he got these bugs that had burrowed into his scalp. They were like worms and they were trying to get them out. And these things were like burrowing down. And it's like one of the freakiest videos I've watched. Gross. It absolutely horrified me.
Pass.
Later on that night, I go back to one of our campuses because I was working very late. And in my front right pocket, I forgot about it. I had one of those little point and shoot cameras. And I'm sitting down at the desk. And every once in a while, I can feel what seems like something is moving in my leg. And I'm like, that's weird. And I look down and I'm like, nah, I'm just imagining that. And I just keep working. And all of a sudden, as I'm moving, what I'm doing is I'm hitting the on-off button. And the lens comes out multiple times in my pocket. No, I'm telling you, I stood up and screamed because I thought one of these worms has gotten off the video and is in my leg.
It's
and I'm
Dune.
Freaking out. And I took the thing out and it was just a little point and shoot Sony camera.
It wasn't the Dune
worms
burrowing into your leg?
No. The best degenerate, they killed all that off.
They killed Ellen DeGeneres?
Which also by this year, she's done.
She's canceled.
They're giving her show over to
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, I think.
Really?
She has her own show.
Drew has a show.
Yeah, but I think they're giving her show over to somebody.
Me. Us.
Tyler. Well,
we accept.
You're going to leave for 18 months, and I'm going to be over here.
No, you're on the show too.
I can?
Yeah.
Can I be the musical guest every single time?
Yes, you can. As long as you sing you and John Michael Montgomery.
All right, so what is your second thing you don't want to get caught in the supply chain?
Klay Thompson. I really want him to come back to the Warriors. I need him before the finals.
He has been stuck.
He's amazing. He's been hurt for 2 years. He literally had a ACL tear and then an Achilles tear, like the two worst injuries.
Yeah.
He got them both.
Will he be able to come back, do you think?
Yeah, he's going to come back within the next month. He went and played for the G League for a while. He's practicing in full uniform before games, but he's just not going to the games yet. Okay. They'll limit his hours. I need him to come in, but I need Jordan Poole to stay in because I love Jordan Poole, and I've got a lot of money invested in that cat. I'm not going to sell him, so I'm going to hold him long enough for them to be worthless, but that's just my style.
Wow. All right. Yeah, we need him. Klay.
Almost good investment. That's my style. Dogecoin, don't sell, hold. Okay, continue.
Mine is going to be super selfish, but insulin, I really hope that doesn't get stuck in the supply chain.
Okay.
When we think about zombie apocalypse,
yeah,
my family thinks we don't think water, we don't think food.
We got to go rob.
We got to go rob a pharmacist or something.
Yeah.
What?
Smith Caldwell. It's a famous pharmacy.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I was like, oh, it is. And I've never. Okay. It's not on
How
Times
dare
Square.
you? They have Hallmark toys there.
Yeah, that's the first thing I think of. And I think about how do you refrigerate it.
I saw some tweets that they're like pushing in this Build Back Better thing. They're trying to get it to where insulin's not more than like $35 or something. Yeah. Is that legit?
The talk of that has happened so many times.
Oh, you just don't even get your...
No, I don't. So there is a direct correlation to people who do get their hopes up on inventions in the medicine field to how long you've had the disease or the whatever.
Gotcha.
And because I've had it for so long, I don't jump anymore on those things. Although they did just have somebody who they gave him islet cells and
I don't know what words you just said to me.
ISLET. Islet cells.
Okay.
They injected it into his pancreas, and he is producing insulin completely fine right now. They were supposed to do 4 different injections, and they thought after the 4th one, maybe he could get up to 67% insulin production out of his pancreas. He hit 90-some% off the first injection.
Does he have to keep getting injections, or does it stay that way?
Nope. Not granted. It's the first guy that's ever had it happen.
So they cured it.
Maybe.
So they cured diabetes. The real one, not the other one. Give me that shot
right now. Yeah, insulin is mine. What's your third one?
Okay. So I would love for Steph Curry's tunnel shots not to get caught up by the supply chain. He shoots the ball from so far away.
It's ridiculous.
On the court and off.
Yeah.
I don't like he's coming from so far. It has to be imported because the shot comes so far.
Well, he even does it on away games.
Yeah.
He's shooting from
the tunnel over the goal backwards.
Yeah.
So interview.
No, I'm saying he's doing it from his home.
From his home. He's sending it via Morse code into the goal.
The Pony Express.
My 3 supply chains are Steph Curry autographs from Tyson Beck, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry's shots.
These are all very related. They're all
connected. Nope, I don't see the connection.
Listen, so for those of you who know the art of improv, Tyler just shut that train of thought down right there. No, I don't think so. Nope. I think you're wrong.
You're wrong. Fake news.
Yeah, fake news.
Do your own research. This is my truth.
Who can argue with that? I can't. That is
do your own
truth.
Research.
Yeah, Andy Samberg would be mine.
I love Andy Samberg.
So Brooklyn Nine-Nine is done.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Like it's over now, or is this last season?
This is the last
season.
It's
not done yet.
And there are only a few episodes away, and I need him to be out there in more things. He is one of my absolute favorites.
He is my favorite. One of my favorites too. Did you watch Palm Springs?
I heard about it.
It's like the Groundhog Day for real.
I heard about it. Yeah, it's like he keeps coming back to life or something.
It just keeps reliving the same day.
Okay. So it is that Groundhog Day concept. Mm-hmm. I think he's incredible. He's such a good writer too.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, he's great.
He's a good singer. And he's not bad at sports.
No.
He was in that baseball with Jose Canseco and Mark. Did you watch that? Bash Brothers?
No.
They did a baseball musical about
for real
Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire playing for the Oakland Athletics.
No way.
And it's they say cuss words, so you can't watch it.
Okay.
But they sing songs about like doing steroids and working out and hitting home runs. It's funny. I mean, it's Lonely Island. It's like literally an album, but a little movie.
That's incredible. I didn't know that. Yeah. I just need him not to get
You still haven't seen So I Think You Can Leave, which is the greatest show on Netflix.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I need to. Well, it's because you said it to me a month ago when we recorded.
I said it longer than that. I said it literally years ago.
I know you did. You literally years
I will not record another episode with you unless you do.
Do you want me to listen to... You want me to read Harry Potter? Do you want me to watch all the Dragon Ball Z? Or do you want me to watch that?
Okay, Dragon Ball Z's last.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Second is no second because they're tied for first. Do Harry Potter stuff and then do the... So I Think You Should Leave.
Okay.
Those are 2 of my favorite things in the world.
All right. Well, will it rock?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
The question on everyone's mind, will it rock? The answer is probably yes.
Because Tyler said it is.
Do you have an idea for this already? Or because I have an idea. Okay. So here's my idea.
This is it.
For Will It Rock.
Okay.
Can The Rock, on his own, move a shipping container?
Oh, wow.
Like how much could he move one?
Is it in water?
No. It's like sitting on concrete, empty shipping container. How much does that weigh?
I mean,
I'll look it up first. Who's going to be first? How much does an empty shipping container weigh?
Wow, there's a lot of other things here. There's no way.
5,071 pounds.
No, that's a 20-foot shipping container.
Yeah.
Its max gross weight can be up to 55,126 pounds.
That's the max weight with stuff in it.
That's empty.
No.
Gross weight.
When empty, the weight of a 20-foot shipping container is 5,000 pounds. Can the rock move?
Oh, a ship like the square ones. I was thinking the cargo ships that take them.
No. So you said
That's
in
what
water.
I was saying in water. And
I was
you
like,
didn't
no,
flinch.
why would you drop it
You
in the
didn't
water?
flinch. You think that little of my mental capacity? You're like, no, Neil. Gosh, no, Neil. Okay. Could he move one on dry
on
land?
concrete.
I would say yes.
How far, though? It's
How
5,000
far
pounds.
do you need it to go? Is he delivering something?
So he
in
can
it?
literally push it and spin it in a circle. 5,000 pounds.
Is there like is there like a little bit of a gravelly surface?
I think it's like a parking lot, like a normal parking lot.
Are there carts in the parking lot?
Yeah, but they're discarded. He can't use them to push. Johnny Knoxville's sitting in them all. Just a bunch of clones.
You're
Knoxville.
in your parade.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
He can spin it in a complete circle.
Not in a complete circle. No,
he can move it.
Yeah, he can move it, but he can't spin it. Has anyone ever moved a shipping container with their bare hands?
I mean, if anybody, it'll be Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Can we call him Dwayne The freaking Rock Johnson? DTFRJ. WWD.
Well, there is a YouTube video by a YouTube user, Grumpy Old Guy, in 2017, how to move a shipping container alone. That can't be it. I don't think this has been done.
Nobody's ever moved a shipping container?
I don't think.
Can he rock it?
There's another one about a single mom lives in a converted shipping container with her daughter on this. This is. I don't think so. I would say he can move it a little bit, but he can't spin that whole thing around.
Okay.
Especially if it was close to a cheat meal.
There's a pizza on the other side. What's about to eat a whole pizza? Gotta shock my metabolism.
Yeah, I don't think he can fix the supply chain.
You don't think he could fix it though?
No, because this is what it takes.
He can't move it?
Hey, listen, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne the freaking Rock Johnson. We've already settled that.
Dwayne the freaking Rock Johnson. You will fix the shipping container or the shipping slowdown single-handedly if you can move this thing in a complete
Not
circle.
single-handedly, two hands.
And two-handedly. If you can spin this thing 360 degrees and get that pizza at the end. And that's like your power up.
He moves it 1 degree a day. And so in one calendar year.
Well,
and Ryan Gosling writes him a letter every day for a year about how he encourages him to do that.
This is the tagline for Atomic Habits. How to slowly
James
move
Clear.
your shipping. Yep. All right, guys. I think we officially. Yes. Apparently, he can.
We fixed it. We
It'll
fixed
rock.
the shipping container just supply chain.
Hey, just so you know, I know you're listening to this January 3rd, 2022. This is not going to be fixed by January 3rd, 2023. It might be fixed by 2024, but we don't even know if that's going to happen. So we should do a recap, and we should come back around, revisit this. and see
we'll
if we
definitely
actually
remember to
fixed
do
it.
that.
Yeah. Oh, we have a laundry list of things that we haven't done.
Yeah, we plan out our episodes 2 years in advance, so we just need to go and just delete the last one.
Yeah.
Because we're like,
just a lot of our data isn't right.
Yeah,
But the general idea.
well, the data's good, but the data's not.
Oh, data.
The data's good. Data's
What do you say, data or data?
data.
The data.
Because data's pretentious.
What about the data?
Could you check the data, please? Like, no,
Pushing
pocket
your
protectors.
glasses up.
Could you check your Google Calendar for nights because you don't have dates, so you're available? Check that date.
I didn't know where we were going with that.
I didn't
That
either.
turned into a burn. And it was
Burn.
good. Yep.
Ooh, burn.
notice.
You know what one of my favorite gifts is Elmo
Feel the
doing
burn.
this with
Yes,
the burn,
it's
the
one of my
flames.
favorites.
I love
Yes.
that one.
That one actually came up in our memes, the game Will It Meme.
Yeah.
That game is fun.
Okay.
It's fun.
I should play that with my children. My
No,
daughter.
there's a stack of cards that are explicit and they're very sexual.
I'm
they-
super
we put
progressive
those-
parent. I'm like, kids, let's watch Fight Club.
Collier, stop listening to this.
Oh, this is a children's podcast.
Yeah, totally.
Oy vey, PBS.
Oy vey. Hey guys,
Thank you
thanks for
so
coming.
much. Thank you so much for
Way to ring in the new year.
ring-a-ling-a-ling. Ding dong. Joe Biden.
Ding dong.
What does he say?
Joe
I'm
Biden.
gonna kiss him on the cheek or something. What does he say? It's so funny. I love it. TikTok.
We'll love it.
All right. Thank you guys so much for coming to my TED Talk. What? My
Bye.
TED Talk.
What? My TikTok.
My TikTok?
My TikTok.
Why don't they
I
call
don't
more
say
TED
words
Talks
right.
TikTok?
I don't know, but why don't they call them TikToks?
TikToks.
TED Talks.
Thanks for listening to the Explain Everything podcast. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Explain Everything Podcast. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but you're already here. We love you. No, actually, we're in love with you. Thanks for coming on our TED Talk. Bye.